Even that singer Tapta, he did
Tapta,
a
yes,
genocidal
there's
song.
so many examples. I mean,
He's not in jail.
there are daily examples. There are daily examples, and there were people. There were these militants, terrorists who were apprehended by central forces, and
Mm.
central forces were forced to release those 12
Mm.
militants by a mob.
Made up by people.
Look at the helplessness of the forces who were trying to do their duty in such an
Yeah,
atmosphere. Can we
yeah,
expect the violence to stop? It will be very, very naive on our part to expect violence to stop in such an atmosphere, to which a lot of people who are the government functionaries are
mm.
being party to it. Public representatives there is evidence of public representatives, legislators participating in violence, in gruesome violence, gory violence, and not just some rally or just some throwing of stones, etc., or stone pelting, etc., but in gruesome violence. There is evidence in public domain which we have seen on social media and mainstream media, and no legal action has been taken or even sought as far as the legal precedents go, as far as the theme of the constitution goes, as far as the intent of the legislature goes. By no stretch of imagination, Meitei people can
Mm.
demand ST status, and we don't
Mm.
have access to the property in the hills. So we need this status because we can have access to property in the hills. This is
True.
their foremost argument, which is a
True.
fallacy. This
Yeah.
argument, this argument does not hold any legal ground, any legal waters, does not hold any water.
Welcome, viewers. Today at DYNT News, we have with us lawyer Vishwajeet Singh. He practices at Supreme Court of India. His main key interests are national affairs, international law, defense and security, energy, environment, intelligence analysis, and public interest. He has been a keen force behind the resurgence of the Kuki Zo community in Manipur. He has been fighting for them in different ways. So, viewers, please like, share, and subscribe. DYNT, democratize your nation today, and our tagline: awaken one human at a time. So, welcome, Vishwajit sir. Sir, I have been interacting you for a long time, and you have been, like, as I said, you have been a force for the oppressed community in Manipur. Sir, what has your experience been? Like, you have been trolled viciously, and you have been fighting for them in the legal arena also. What has been experience for now, and what do you see in future?
Since my experience with Manipur has been long standing. I have had uh, an experience of helping people there in as far as the issues of human rights and fundamental rights are concerned. And I have also participated in some litigation earlier on these issues. So this is why I have a background, understanding of the background of Manipur and the system and the society there. So as soon as the present conflict started, I was immediately I was immediately I felt it compelling for myself immediately that I should do my bit. I should contribute whatever I can towards achieving stability in the society, and as well as holding the government to account and holding the government responsible for whatever is going on. So I felt it as a duty to do whatever I could. So I'm just trying to do whatever is as according to my capacity and capabilities. I'm just trying to help the people.
And sir, what about your experience of being trolled viciously by the Meiteis and the
Yes,
BJP IT cell? Please
yes,
share some experience.
yes. The all the trolling that I have received so far, and I, most humbly, I welcome all the trolling, whatever I do receive, is has come from the majority community, which are the Meiteis, and from their IT cells, and from the ruling party IT cells, and I mean, I'm used to it, and we have been using the social media for quite a long time now. So trolling is a part of being present on the social media. So I don't mind, but at times, I find it very, very funny when when I'm referred to as a narco supporter, or
mm,
a person who, maybe they ask me, how much drug money I've been receiving from the so-called narco terrorists, and uh, of course there's some vicious attack also. There are some vicious attacks, uh, making very, very wild allegations against me, of which I would not like to spell out publicly, but those allegations are
mm,
very, very wild, and they are very disgraceful allegations at times. But
mm,
now, since I understand that the people who entertain themselves by trolling me are people of very, very minuscule mindset, people of very low level of education and understanding, and I think more should be done for them, for to to enhance and raise their level of understanding, so that they should not be making such wild trolling and wild allegations against any person for that matter, and particularly to a person who has been trying to, get some perspective to things, and who's trying to analyze and bring to the fore the
mm,
background and the truth about what's going on, and a person who's seeking responsibility and accountability from the government. Why are because I you know I get perplexed when I see that when you seek accountability from the government, a particular community takes it onto
mm,
itself, as if we are pointing fingers on them. No, we are pointing fingers on the government. The government is
yeah,
failing in its task. Government is There is a heavy amount of dereliction of duty on part of the government, abdication from responsibility on part of the government. So it's every citizen's duty to seek accountability from the government, and when it is met with trolling, then it simply gets hilarious. You can only laugh at it.
yeah, yeah. They behave as surrogate mothers of the government.
Sort of, yes.
Yeah. So, sir, trolling aside and everything, so let's go to your kshetra. That is, sir, why has Article 355 and Article 356 not been able to bring peace in Manipur?
See, as far as Articles 355 and 356 are concerned, I have serious doubts whether those articles have actually been promulgated or not.
Mm,
Because those articles, see, Article 355, it does not require promulgation. It's just a duty of the President of India. It's part of the duties of the President of India to exercise certain powers in order to supervise and in order to seek accountability from state governments regarding law and order in the state. But Article 356 needs promulgation.
mm,
It needs promulgation by way of a gazette.
mm.
So I don't. I have serious doubts whether the Articles 355 and 356 have even been exercised or promulgated for that matter. So otherwise, Article 356 is what? President's rule. So
Mm,
it's not there. So they are
mm.
not there. Article 356 and 355 and 356 are not being exercised as far as the legal person, as far as my legal opinion goes.
Sir, when can we see this president's rule being applied to Manipur? Because the chief minister has failed. Chief minister has
Right,
completely
yes.
failed.
What are the prerequisites, or what are the presidential guidelines, or what are the union government guidelines for promulgating Article 356 and imposing a president rule? One of the guidelines is failure of the civilian administration in upkeeping the law and order,
Hmm.
which we are seeing every day right from 3rd May. So
True.
it's high time. I mean, it should have been done already back in the first week of May. The state government
Hmm.
completely failed, and there are so many indications and evidence available in public domain, which indicates active involvement of state
Hmm.
government in refusing to act. If because see, the election of duty is always active, as far as I'm concerned, as far as my understanding goes. A willful dereliction of duty amounts to involvement.
Okay, sir. There is another contentious issue in Manipur. There is Article 3. Article 3 has not been followed previously by BJP Singh government also, and this government also just does not respect Article 3. And in Manipur, we also don't have that inner line permit. Still, Article 3 is a dicey thing in Manipur. Why is it so?
As far as inner line permit is concerned, I
Hmm.
think no, there is a requirement for inner line permit in Manipur also, because I have been asked for inner line permit a lot of times when I've been there. So even when going to stay in a booking stay in a hotel or something, I
Hmm.
was asked for inner line permit, although I never had it. But then,
Hmm.
okay, it was not insisted upon, but it
Hmm.
was being asked. So inner line permit. But as far as Article 3 is concerned, lot of lot of states where this requirement of Article 3 is supposed to be, it's supposed to be there. It's not being followed. And let's not. I mean, Article 3, it's okay. If there has been non-compliance of Article 3, it can be understood, because okay. I mean, first of all, there should not be a requirement for inner line permit in a
Hmm.
country union. Okay, it's a union of
Hmm.
states.
Hmm.
There is a right to there's a fundamental right to travel. Right to travel is a fundamental right. So there should not be such a requirement. And so if it's not being followed diligently by certain states, I say it's okay.
Okay. So you're not seeing too much controversy in that.
No, I don't see. No, I don't find any
Okay.
conflict.
Okay. Okay. So one of the major issues regarding the intellectualization of the separate administration issue is finding the legal relationship that the Kuki Zo have with the Indian state, which is very different from what the Manipur Valley has with the Indian state. Kindly share some light on that.
Legal relationship of
Kuki
every
Zo with the Indian state.
of the
Yeah.
of the Kuki with the Indian state is as
Hmm.
much as the legal relationship which I have with the Indian state, and which what you have with the Indian state.
Hmm.
Okay, the legal relationship of the Kuki people is as good as mine and yours.
Hmm. Hmm.
There should be no doubt about it.
Hmm.
And the persons who are casting doubts on the legal relationship of cookies or people with the Indian state are just,
Hmm.
either they are misguided people, or they are less informed people, you know, or they have an agenda for saying so. So let's not even, let's not. It's out of question. It's not a questionable fact. As far as the legal relationship of
No,
cookies or
no, sir.
people, they
No,
are
sir. I'm
citizens,
not asking that.
equal
No, sir.
citizens.
Yes, sir. I agree to that. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is
As far
that.
as if you yes,
Uh,
let me add to what I just said. That
hmm,
if you want to ask the historical legal relationship of cookies or people,
yeah.
okay. So see, there's so many myths doing the rounds as far as the relationship of cookies or people and with the Indians is concerned. The
Hmm,
Indian state is today the Indian state that came into being after independence in 1947, and after enforcing our constitution in 1950.
hmm,
The Indian state that came into being is more or less uh, it's a continuation of Government of India Act of 1935, which was brought in by the British. So, and the Kuki Zo were equal subjects of the British, as was the rest of the princely states,
mm,
rest of 500 plus princely states in the present in the subcontinent, which were later partitioned and promulgated by the British as two different countries, as India and Pakistan.
mm,
Okay, so historical relationship of Cookies or people as subjects of the as British administration is the same as the historical legal relationship with of the people belonging to rest of the princely states in the subcontinent.
mm,
It's the
mm,
same as far as legality goes, because there's
mm,
enough British jurisprudence, enough rules of business, rules of governance, rules of governing different people. British had okay, it's okay. The subcontinent was a colony, and the colonizers had a governing principle of having different set of rules for different people,
true,
maybe for different princely states, for different kingdoms. So the
true,
Britishers
true, true.
Britishers had a separate set of rules for governing the Meiteis and a different set of rules for governing the Kukis.
Mm,
Kukis were there. There has been an Anglo Kuki War.
yeah,
Whatever you call it was a conflict for, could have been a conflict for anything. Maybe a
mm,
conflict against atrocities. Okay,
mm,
just like it was the mutiny of 1857.
mm,
So it was termed as a sepoy mutiny. So British could have termed the Anglo Kuki War as anything they liked. But that does
true,
not deny the fact that uh, that it was there, and that it was the Anglo Kuki War. It was waged by the Kuki people because they were subjects. They were subjects of the British administration. So that is the history of the legal relationship of Cookies or people
mm,
with
mm,
the Indian state. It starts from way back from the British administration. It's as simple as that. Somebody tries to deny
yeah.
it, they have an agenda, or they are misinformed.
True, agree, agree. Sir, the reason why I ask you is because lots of people in mainland, they think that just because the Meiteis have separatist tendencies, the cookies also have separatist tendencies, and they try to use that fake narrative that the Meitei king used, that India and Manipuri kingdom's relationship starts from
I
1949 onwards.
I have very little respect or to people who cast aspersions on citizenships and who believe in circulating rumors which are baseless.
Mm,
Have very little respect for what they want to say, okay, or what they want to think for themselves, because as far as the history goes, and as far as the rumor goes, rumor is which is being spread suddenly. It has come up. Although these rumors were being spread by the Meitei supremacist, majority community supremacist groups and radical groups
mm,
earlier also,
mm,
this
mm,
also demonstrate the fact that there has been an agenda even before the beginning of the present conflict. There has been an agenda to demonize the Kukizo community as foreigners, as illegal immigrants, etc., etc. And but there is no evidence to it. And in fact, well, as far as the evidence goes, and as far as the Meitei folklore goes, and as far as their own history goes, history of their kingdom goes, they
mm,
they were the ones who were paying tributes
mm, mm,
to the Mayans to various kingdoms of Myanmar, to the Chins,
mm,
to the Kachins, and to the Mayans and to the Homs. So let's not even delve into rumors. Okay, and that's why when the Myanmar suddenly had their independence, because it was not planned, they got their
mm,
independence by
mm,
accident, and
mm,
and in Kuki Zo, so the Meitei majority people also started identifying themselves immediately with the kingdoms of the Burmese people, and they
mm,
just wanted, and they assumed for themselves that they have also got their independence. It's
Mm,
another matter that they had to sign an accession with the Union of India at a later
mm,
stage, and Manipur was reorganized as a state of the Union only much after the accession to the Union of India. It's another
mm.
matter altogether. But their sentiments were always of the with the kingdoms of the Burmese people, various kingdoms, and that's why they have been asking for. They have been they have been secessionists.
Yeah.
Their Maharaja has declared independence from Union of India
Mm,
several times, not once.
mm.
They have tried
Despite
to
becoming,
they have tried to
yes,
establish
sir.
governments in exile.
Yes, sir.
They
Despite being,
outside
yeah,
the
true,
country.
true, true. Yes, sir. Despite becoming the Rajya Sabha MP, they
It's
are
the
declaring
majority
independence.
people whose legal status with India, with the Union of India, is more questionable than
Mm.
what is being peddled about the Kuki Zo people.
True, true, true. Agree. Sir, Meiteis have a very interesting demand that Meiteis are scheduled tribes and they need access to the hills because uh, they don't have access to 90% of Manipur. How, constitutionally feasible idea is this?
See, people this demand for OBC
Mm,
status, for scheduled caste status, scheduled tribe status, which are broadly three defined reservation categories. Okay, that's why they are called scheduled because they have been put in a schedule within the
mm,
Constitution of India. Okay,
mm,
so this demand keeps coming up from various quarters within the country. It's there. So many people are demanding OBC status. Jats have been demanding OBC status. Okay, in some parts, uh, uh, a breakaway faction of Brahmins is demanding
mm,
OBC
mm,
status. Okay,
mm,
some parts where a particular community has been part of OBC in some state, and
mm,
the same community has been part of the ruling elite people in some other state.
mm,
Okay, the same
mm,
community has a reservation status in one state, while it does not have it in the other state where it has been part of the ruling community. So,
mm,
it is, see, the constitution is very clear, and
mm,
there have been a plethora of judgments by the Supreme Court and various high courts, and there have
mm,
been reports submitted parliamentary by various
mm,
standing committees of the parliament
mm,
regarding regarding who, as per the theme of the constitution, who, as per the intent of the constituent assembly and intent of the legislature, which people are entitled to such being part of such scheduled communities, and should be entitled to reservation. Okay, it's the people
mm,
who require social equity. It's the people
mm,
who have craved for social equity for centuries and for generations. It's the people who have been oppressed. It's the people who are in need of social justice. It's a people who are in need of special provision of equal opportunities, or maybe higher
mm,
opportunities for that matter.
mm,
And by no stretch of imagination, within
mm,
Manipur, the Meiteis people can be classified into that particular category. Just
mm,
mere descent, mere ancestral descent,
mm,
hereditary descent
mm.
cannot classify a community into a people who deserve such classification. See,
True.
I gave an example. Same community can be an OBC, can have an OBC
Mm.
status in one state while it cannot have it in another state where it
Yeah,
has been
yeah, yeah,
a
yeah.
community. Okay, so by no
Mm,
stretch of imagination, as far as the legal precedents go, as far as the theme of the constitution goes, as far as the intent of the legislature goes, by no stretch of imagination, Meitei people can
mm,
demand ST status. because
Yeah.
and their leaders and their intellectuals are openly saying it. We are
Mm.
demanding it because we have been boxed into the Imphal Valley, and we don't
Mm.
have access to the property in the hills. So we need this status because we can have access to property in the hills. This is
True.
their foremost argument, which is a
True.
fallacy. This
Yeah.
argument, this argument does not hold any legal ground, any legal waters, does not hold any water, because tribal property, scheduled property, property of the land of the forest dwellers is protected in so many parts of the country. Can you
Mm.
buy
Schedule
land
6.
in the tribal areas of Uttarakhand? Can you buy land
No.
in tribal areas of Himachal? Can you buy land in tribal areas of Rajasthan and so many other, or Andhra Pradesh,
Yeah.
or Chhattisgarh, for that matter? Can you do that?
West Bengal. Yeah. West Bengal.
Why,
No. No. No.
you cannot do that? So why are they asking for it?
Yeah.
And
So
just to
I
be
have
able
answer.
to buy that land, they want ST
Yeah.
status. I don't think it is
Yeah.
legally made.
Yes, sir. Sir, I know because we have been discussing this on length in other ways. Biren Singh has also said that we shall do a permanent settlement. It almost reminded me of the permanent settlement which happened, I think, 150 years back in Bengal presidency. Using permanent settlement, lots of even Brahmins, got became chota zamindar in Bengal. So it almost feels like the High Court judge who gave the decision,
I would say that the
which
figure was very, very ignorant. That's all I
no,
would
no,
say.
yeah, sir. But I would say he is almost acting like the East India Company in many ways. So we are, kind of moving into that zone which we Bengalis have already seen. It's the same kind of policies being created through different channels. Policy is same, just the skin color of the policy maker has changed. Otherwise, it is same. They just want to snatch away tribal land for their own greed and
Yes,
lust for
yes.
money and all those things.
And tribals, as far as I'm concerned, as far as
Hmm.
my my opinion goes, as far as my sentimental my sentimental feeling goes, is that tribals have all
Hmm.
the right to resist any
Hmm.
such move on part of anybody, be it government, be it, and
Hmm.
they're doing it.
Yeah, they're doing it. Yeah, I am also part of one movement regarding the Deucha Pachami coal block issue that is happening in West Bengal. So there, the Santal community is against that thing. So I understand their point of view. Sir, one more thing, like 180 days, almost 180 days, we are going to see of the mayhem. Uh, Still, central government is not empowering the central forces in a good way to operate in Manipur. Do you see that changing anytime soon?
As far as the tendencies and habits of the present government go,
Hmm.
I don't see this happening in near future at least, because Armed Forces Special Powers Act was uh, was removed from 19 districts of the Imphal Valley,
Hmm.
which have seen maximum amount of violence. It was
Hmm.
removed from the Imphal Valley very, very deliberately, and the people demanding this removal of Special Powers Act were the majority community people who are the dominant residents of the valley. So this government, as far as its track record goes, so far of
Hmm.
track record of governance goes of last 10 years, they are not
Hmm.
a kind of people who believe in owning up their mistakes and owning up their faults. So I do not see this happening in the near future. And as long as the special powers are not accorded to the armed forces,
Hmm.
they will be very, very reluctant to do the kind of work which they are required to do, which they are trained to do, and which they have done earlier. They will not
Yeah,
do
yeah,
it
yeah.
without special power, without the protection of the special powers. They need legal protection, and it's very much required. That's why this law came into being. This law was enforced and given to us, and given to the forces, so that they can be able to operate in an atmosphere of legal protection
Hmm.
without the fear of harassment at later
Hmm.
stage.
Yeah, yeah, I remember, sir. There was a case recently only from Manipur where the Meitei people, the Meitei terrorists entered one Naga village, and then after doing firing and all, they were escorted by the Meitei MLAs, the Manipuri police, and the
Yes,
army couldn't do anything because they didn't have the legal mandate to intervene.
yes.
It's very unfortunate.
This is very
But
unfortunate. And as far as I would like to weigh my words very carefully here. I would say it is a dereliction of duty on part of central as well as the state government when,
hmm,
uh, in spite of there being a heavy presence of central forces in the state of Manipur, they are not being allowed to operate the way of a peacekeeping force should be operating.
okay. Sir, one major demand of the Kuki Zo community is that they need separate administration. Can it happen?
Yes,
What is the constitutional way of making separate administration or union territory happen in
yes.
Manipur?
See, union territory is altogether different. If the government can do it for the state of Jammu and Kashmir, they can very
Hmm.
well do it for the tribal districts of Manipur as well. As far as the because there is a reorganization of states commission, it can do such things, and
Hmm.
that too legally. Okay, that is settled. And as far as separate administration is concerned, that is also already provided in the constitution, in the schedule 6 of the constitution of India, and they have been asking for that. What they have been asking is from a separate administration from the majority community people in the state, because they are not getting their fair due.
Hmm.
Maximum institutions, maximum budgetary allocations, maximum jobs are going to people from the valley, and development which ought to have reached the hills, and which has reached in the hills in the other states, is not reaching the tribal hills of Manipur. So this any such demand of a separate administration or an autonomous tribal council or an autonomous hill council, it's all
Hmm.
already there provided in the constitution in Schedule 6, and the same demand is being raised in so many places. The people in
Yes.
Ladakh have been demanding Schedule 6.
Hmm.
Okay, so many, and always so many other tribals in Himachal already have Schedule 6 administration. And so many
Yeah.
people are having Schedule 6 administrations around the country. So what's wrong if the Kuki Zo people are asking for it? It's
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
They're asking for something which is provided in the constitution. They're not asking for something out of the blue.
True, true, true. Like even in Assam, Karbi
Assam,
Anglong, I
yes,
think,
Karbi Anglong,
Boro,
Kokrajhar,
Boro, Boroland.
the Bodo
Uh,
districts, it's all there.
mm,
So do we need? I mean, there are already so many precedents available within the
mm,
country. So what's wrong if cookies or people are also asking for it? Because so that their children can have a better future, they can
mm,
have equal access to the development which rest of the country and rest of the state is witnessing. So
mm.
I mean, I don't see it wrong by any stretch of imagination to demand such an administration.
Yeah, but still, the demonization of the cookie people as narco terrorist
That
or
is rumor
cook,
mongering. That is rumor
yeah,
mongering.
cookie, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
cookie shows as cookie militant. I have a problem with this cookie shows projected as cookie militant. Can you please shed lights on that? Like why cookie SOO can't be projected as militant? Can you please explain it in a legal way?
The militants are those who are waging
mm,
militancy.
mm,
Okay, it's an international definition of a militant is the one who either who's waging an armed rebellion, armed insurgency, armed belligerency for that matter.
mm,
Okay, so they are not waging an armed insurgency against the state, against the union. So they are not indulging in militancy anymore, and
mm,
particularly so after the signing of the SOO agreements.
mm,
The only thing that is special about them is that they have not been as per the agreement. They have not been asked to lay down their arms.
mm,
But the same is true about so many other armed groups.
mm.
So they are being called what? Let's look at the Nagas. They're not being called Naga militants anymore. They are being
Yeah.
called they are being called Naga groups
Mm,
because they also have a suspension of operation agreement.
mm,
Same way, and the other special thing about them is that they have to stay put within the designated camps. So by now what? Why having the different standards
mm.
for the SOO groups,
Yeah, yeah.
and why so far the Meitei
Mm,
militant groups, which are actually militant groups and which are
mm,
operating from Myanmar, now why are
mm.
they trying to have their own SOOs with the government? Why are they putting forth a demand, and that is being supported by the Manipur state government right now?
Mm.
And while
Yeah,
Manipur
but
state government has unilaterally withdrawn from the SOO with the Kuki people, which they have no
yeah,
right to do.
yeah, yeah. Also,
So
no, I
calling the Kuki militants, there's no Kuki militant today.
true, true, true. No,
They
I
they are
think
groups. They are groups having certain demands who are living in
mm,
designated camps. That's it.
yes, yes, sir. I think Ibobi Singh, when he was a CM, he was very good in neutralizing all the UGs, and right now these Arambai Tengal and Metal Lipun are in some way UGs only, and they are
No, I don't
uh,
call them yogis. They are over the ground. They are not underground. I co-
okay.
I consider them over the ground.
Ha. So yeah, so but they were
No, they
UGs
are
who are
radical
now
groups.
operating.
They
Ha,
are
they are
they are
UGs
radical
now.
groups. Yes, they are radical
Yeah,
groups, and they are the future
yeah.
militants also. I can
No,
safely say that.
I would go and say that they are terrorist group, but since you are from the legal background, you can't say it, and I understand your limitations. Okay,
Yes,
I
yes,
have no
that's
issues.
yes. I have
I
to
have
I
no.
have to be slightly careful.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, I have no issues with that. But one more major problem is that Rajya Sabha MP, Lok Sabha MP, and MLAs, they are part of the system. They are controlling
Yes.
the Metal
Yes.
Lipun and the Arab Bengal.
Yes. The
Still,
Maharaja is the
uh,
Rajya Sabha MP is doing that. He is openly doing that. He is being worshipped by these groups and by the larger majority community. He is being worshipped. He is being worshipped as a father figure by all of them, and he's the one who took the step of declaring independence from the Union of India, sitting in Britain, and he's the one who formed the government in exile in Britain. So he's yes, of course, there are two ways about it, and it's very shameful for the people of the country to have such people as their parliamentarians sitting in the upper house,
hmm. No,
promulgating laws for us.
sir, that is the part and parcel of BJP. Like once
Yeah,
they
they are
do,
yes, the washing machine
yeah,
culture. Yes,
once they do, maybe that can be considered to an exception. But even from Bengal, they have made Anant Maharaj Rajya Sabha MP. He's from the Rajbangshi community, and
yes,
he believes in Rajbangshi homeland or Kamtapur, for which to materialize, we have to, but they have to question the legality of India and Bangladesh as well as Bhutan. and Nepal to some extent. So these kind of hypocritical steps BJP has always taken, and before also we have seen in the country, and maybe we can have a good discussion on that. So let's come to Manipur.
Yes.
Other
Let's
questions I
focus
have
on
for
that.
you.
We are here
Yeah,
today for that.
yeah. Other questions I have, like CBI and NIA. CBI though always has behaved without any brain of their own, but NIA to a long time was a very what do you say, a separate entity which didn't listen to political whims. But in Manipur, they seem to satisfy the ignorance of the Majoritian community. Your thoughts on that?
See, because I have a fair share of experience with both the agencies, CBI as well as the NIA, and I would differ. I would beg to differ with what you just said.
Hmm.
Neither of these two agencies has been an independent agency for the last 10 years.
Not even NIA.
Not even NIA. The
The
way
CBI,
NIA
so
has
we know.
no, the
CBI we
NIA
know.
we know. NIA also
Okay.
I know. NIA also I
Okay.
know because the way they have been behaving in the last 10 years, and they came into existence slightly before when this government took over in 2014. NIA
Hmm.
is a very fresh agency as far as these two agencies are concerned. So
Hmm.
NIA, I have not seen NIA working independently, and that's why, and they have a history of implicating as an investigating agency, which is supposed to be a premier investigating agency of the country. It is supposed
Hmm.
to be very very fair and very very objective in its
Hmm.
actions, and I don't see it happening because of the fact the what is the conviction rate of NIA cases? It is dismal.
True.
It's
Yeah.
less than dismal, worse than dismal.
Worse than this one.
It's less than 3%.
Hmm. Less than
So
3%.
the premier investigating agency of the country, which has been raised for a particular purpose, should not be
Hmm.
behaving the way it is behaving. What does
Hmm.
what does a dismal conviction rate imply? It implies shoddy investigation. It
Yeah.
implies it implies shoddy evidence collected. Means there was no evidence,
Hmm.
because if there were there sufficient evidence, then they ought to have
Hmm.
collected it and presented it before the courts, which they failed to do time and again regularly without fail.
True. True.
So I would not say that NIA is a, was an independent agency, because whatever NIA has been, we have
Hmm.
been seeing in the courts
Hmm.
for last so many years is that NIA is going haywire.
Hmm.
And
It is political.
it is a political tool, just like the CBI or the ED or the DRI or the income tax or so many other agencies. Same goes with NIA.
Hmm.
I can give you a lot of examples, which I don't know
Hmm.
how much time we have today, but see,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
We have.
what,
We can.
what is the extent of probe, and which was not supposed to be politically motivated? What is the extent
Hmm.
of probe of the Pathankot air base attack?
True. True.
Has it gone to any logical conclusion?
No.
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 Uh, and and I've just given one example. And what about the cases that NIA is coming up almost every week, where they are filing charge sheets, and where they are taking innocent people to trial, and who are being acquitted by the court every week,
Hmm.
by the special courts, by the courts specially designated to try NIA cases. People are
True.
getting acquitted because there is no evidence. Why are they doing it? Why are they doing such things?
Hmm.
Of course, there's pressure. What about the cases in J&K since 2019?
Yeah.
So many,
Yeah, yeah.
almost all, 98% of those people picked up by NIA and made accused in
Hmm.
in so-called terror cases
Hmm.
have been acquitted by the courts. So
Yes,
I
sir.
would not say
Agree.
that NIA is as good as you think it is.
No, I don't think NIA is as good as it, but I was trying to
No, no, it's
give.
the same. For, I no, no, it's the same as
Yeah,
CBI and ED and everybody else.
I was trying to be cute. I was trying to be cute and
Okay,
find
okay, I
some
understand.
nuance. Find some nuance.
No, there's
Because
no nuance. There's no such
uh,
nuance.
yeah, yeah. So, sir, let's address other question is that two
And
children have been.
and same has
Uh,
been the behavior of NIA as well as CBI in Manipur
uh,
also.
yeah, so coming to that, sir, there are two children still in juvenile custody of I think,
In the Guwahati, yes.
CBI.
It's in
CBI.
Guwahati. No, CBI
Yeah,
has
sir.
produced them in the Juvenile Justice Board and they have sent them to juvenile
Uh,
custody. Yes.
sir, so what is the legal logic? Do you know anything about
I,
that?
to be very honest, I have very little information. They have allowed very little information to come out regarding that
Hmm.
particular case,
Hmm.
and I don't see what what lawful right CBI has because no, they have not. I I've not been able to find. Nobody has been able to find that file. They must have
Hmm.
submitted some application before the special court and before the juvenile justice board. We nobody
Hmm.
has seen the contents of that application. Why? I mean, they have to justify in the application why they have taken those two children in custody and why they are being produced, not being handed over to the next of kin, and being produced to the before the juvenile justice board, and the board in turn is handing them over to a care facility.
Hmm. Hmm.
This is all very very mysterious, and whenever an investigation agency behaves
Hmm.
so mysteriously, I always
Hmm.
see a clear motive behind this. I always see it as a malified action. So this is what I can say about this. Because and as far as because the I would like to help the family of those two
Hmm.
little
Hmm.
children, but
Hmm.
I'm yet waiting for somebody to approach so that we can take the lawful steps, legal steps which are required to at least set those children free. Because as far as I understand,
Hmm.
those children are in unlawful detention right now.
Yeah, yeah, sir. I made that point to you when it actually happened, and you were not privy to some information, so we had an
No, I am
altercation.
privy to that
Uh,
information, but we are. I
uh,
am not privy to what is
the
the case
content.
of the CBI for
Yeah,
for
yeah,
for,
yeah.
for taking such actions.
Yeah. So it looks like most likely a pressure tactics, to.
Pressure tactics.
Uh,
All the more reason to believe that they are in unlawful detention if they are being held. If
mm,
children are being held as a pressure tactic by an investigating agency or by a state government for that matter, or by the central government for that matter, then all the
mm.
more reason to believe that they are in unlawful detention and they need help.
Yes, sir. Very also very unfortunate in the way no one is actually picking up on this. Neither the political parties or anti-BJP
I
or
am
the media
surprised
is
why,
actually.
and I think the pressure tactic is working because the families are also not coming forward.
Yeah, that is true. Also, within the community or outside the community, they also not speaking that much about this thing,
Yes,
which is
yes,
very
yes.
strange. Which
I'm
is very
no, no.
strange.
I am in fact saddened by whatever has happened to the children, and
Mm.
whatever the pressure the families must be undergoing right now. It's a very saddening fact for the rest of the country, rest people of the country, to bear with such atrocities being committed by the government.
Uh, Okay, sir, let's go to our last aspect of this interview that what are the upcoming challenges to this conflict? Just yesterday we see one problematic thing happen at More. Uh, you can't share too much details on that because obviously
It's a
we
very
also not.
recent event. Yes, it's a very
Yeah,
recent event. Very sketchy
but
details have come
well,
out so far.
yeah, going forward. such kind of skirmishes are going to take place? Is it this kind of, it's a form of social engineering kind of thing? Are we going to see this again and again?
See, social engineering, as much as I understand, social engineering is already underway in Manipur. Okay, and as part of that social engineering, people are being, you know, people are being injected with, whole communities are being injected with a lot of hatred on daily basis by way of mainstream media, by way of social media, by way of personal communication, by way of people to people communication. And the government and its functionaries, particularly the state government, they are spewing hatred on a daily basis from public platforms and from government platforms. So how can we expect, and when the security forces, the state forces are already heavily partisan, and the union forces, central forces, are not being are not have not been able to function because of the reasons that we discussed earlier here. So how can we expect the violence in such an atmosphere of hatred? How can we expect the violence to abet, or to abate, or or to relent, or to come to a stop? Because not a week passes for the last 6 months when for 3-4 days we witnessed there's a lull in violence, and there's, it looks like there's some respite, and it looks like, violence seems to have stopped. But on the fifth day, something comes up: a killing
Yeah,
here,
yeah, yeah.
a lynching there, a kidnapping here, or some arbitrary, vengeful state action here and there.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Even
in such an
yeah,
atmosphere, can we
yeah.
expect the violence to stop? It will be very, very naive on our part to expect violence to stop in such an atmosphere, to which a lot of people who are the government functionaries are being party to it. Public representatives there is evidence of public representatives, legislators participating in violence, in gruesome violence, gory violence, and not just some rally or just some, throwing of stones, etc., or stone pelting, etc., but in gruesome violence. There is evidence in public domain which we have seen on social media and mainstream media, and no legal action has been taken or even sought against such persons. Then in such a scenario, in such an atmosphere, where the criminals and the perpetrators of violence are being given are being allowed to do what they want. So in such an environment, can we expect the violence to die down? And on top of that, there is no sincere effort on part of the government to contain that violence. And whatever central
Yeah.
forces have been able to do is being opposed by the state government. Just for example, the setting of the buffer zone by the central forces. The buffer zone is being challenged every day. There are attempts to breach it, and there have been big attempts by a mob of
Yeah.
maybe thousands of persons to breach that buffer zone.
Yeah.
And state government has been found lacking in its duties as far as stopping violence is concerned. So
So
in this
they are
atmosphere, I
complete.
don't think violence can be contained like this.
Yes, sir. They are complicit. So we can
I would
safely
say
say they are
complete. Yes,
complicit.
yes. Their functionaries are giving statements. Their functionaries are giving hate speeches. Their functionaries are declaring their intentions from public platforms. So, and there is no attempt on part of the state government or the union government to apprehend such people. Why is that person who gave us on national television, who said on interview that a particular 15-kilometer stretch
Yeah,
will be
yeah.
wiped out in one blow? Why is that person not behind bars?
True, true. Sir, even that singer Tapta, he did
Sapta,
a
yes,
genocidal
there's
song.
so many examples. I mean,
He's not in jail.
there are daily examples. There are daily examples, and there were people. There were these militants, terrorists who were apprehended by central forces, and they were central forces were forced to release those 12 militants by a mob.
Made up by me.
Look at the helplessness of the forces who are trying to do their duty.
Sir, helped
And
by made up
and
by me.
and the Meiteis, yes. So I don't want to name any organization at this point because I have
Sir,
my
they
hands
are not
full.
any
Yeah,
organization, sir. They are
they
not any
are
organization.
not anymore. Yes, not anymore. They are
Uh,
they are an unlawful cult, as far as I would say.
Unlawful cult. Sir, in many ways it looks like sporadic violence is being used by the Manipuri state to create nation building project,
Yes, I would not say the violence
which
is
is
sporadic. I would say the violence is every act of violence, every incident of violence is very well planned. Okay, I would
strategic.
not say it is
Strategic.
sporadic. Yes, it's very
Hmm.
strategic, and the
Ma-
state government of Manipur is using those incidents of violence as
hmm.
to reinforce their
Narrative.
strategy further. Their strategy
Hmm.
further. Okay,
Hmm.
they're to implement their strategy further. They are using those sporadic incidents, and that's why I can say this much after the recent incident in More of killing of
Hmm.
police personnel there,
Hmm.
that why is the state government, people of those particular districts have
Hmm.
expressed their reservation and
Hmm.
their anger against state forces who have been found complicit in violence earlier, who have been
Hmm.
found to be handing away the victims of mob violence, handing away those victims to that very mob. Okay, so such a state force is not trustworthy. Supreme Court has, in its judgment, written judgment, passed orders
Hmm.
that the state government, state law and order machinery, state police has failed. It does not have the capability to uphold law and order as well as to investigate. So why is such a police force being pushed into a particular district? For what purpose? Of course, it's part of an agenda. It's strategic, very very strategic, and the strategy is not to contain the violence. The strategy
Sir,
is to do something else.
yeah.
And all the while, when people of that particular area are opposing introduction of state forces, more forces into that area, and they are protesting on the roads, trying to disallow injection of those forces in that area. Then those forces are being airdropped into that very area where people are opposing it. Then who is
Hmm.
responsible for the upcoming, then the violence that follows?
Hmm. So it's almost like they have been put up for as a sacrificial lamb, sir, basically.
I would, yes, and it's normal for governments to,
Hmm. Hmm. Yes, sir.
to
Yes, sir.
to
So
sacrifice or
yes,
to scapegoat to a
yeah,
few people. I think, I mean, it's not new. It's happening so many parts of the world, so it's okay.
yeah, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. So
yes,
sorry to
it
sorry,
cannot be ruled out.
sorry to butt in. I have just one more question. Is that how do you see this changing? Like, how would like to solve this issue? Is there any
Yes,
plan or anything you
yes,
have
yes.
in your mind?
Legal remedies are available. Constitutional
Hmm.
remedies are available, which are not being
Hmm.
exercised either by the government or by the ignorant citizens. Their citizens are not being well informed. That's why they are not resorting to those legal remedies and
Agree,
constitutional remedies. First of
agreed,
all, the first
citizens.
constitutional remedy available to the government is central government is imposition of president's rule and
Hmm.
deployment of central forces and imposition of and fresh promulgation of armed forces special power in the valley district. Okay, that's the first constitutional and legal resort available to the government, and then and the resort available to the citizens, affected citizens particularly, is collating all the evidence and presenting it before the courts of law. Supreme Court is already seized of the matter. Those the all the evidence that the people think is relevant should be presented within the ongoing litigation
Hmm.
that the Supreme Court is already seized of.
Hmm. Okay. Okay, sir. Understood. Before you go, another point which I
Because
think we
state
should
government has to be
address.
stopped in what it's doing, and it's
Yeah.
possible. Courts have the power to do that.
Yes, sir. Sir, before you go, I have just one more question for you. That many people want to engage with the Manipur issue if there is some economic angle or some chronic capitalistic angle like
Yes.
Jubilant Oil, or Adani is trying to enter Manipur, then only they are motivated to talk for the Kuki Zo. Otherwise, they are just not interested.
So the
Does
business class
huh,
will always look for financial incentives, and for they are
sir?
profiteers. Okay, and
Sir.
there's a term called war profiteer. It's a very very
Ji,
old term. Okay, these are
sir.
those people. They are war
Yeah, yes.
profiteers.
Okay, now, sir, my question is, what message are you going to give to this subchintak of the Kuki Zo
There is
who?
no, I have not seen any subchintak of the cookies or people from the business community so far, but I have heard, I know about the undercurrents, and I have heard about the prerogatives that these people are looking for, and the business opportunities that these people are looking for in the conflict on state. And I have a very simple message for these people: is I would I would suggest them to lay off, because war
Okay,
profiteering is a crime, and these crimes will not go unpunished in the future.
okay. So
And as far as
viewers,
Jubilant Oil is concerned, it's
hmm,
a very old interested party in Manipur.
hmm,
I have seen documents which are available in public domain where Jubilant Oil was given a contract by a tripartite contract between state
hmm,
government, union government, and Jubilant. It's a Netherlands-based company to
hmm,
explore for oil and gas, to conduct
hmm,
explorations, and to drill for oil in Manipur. I have those contracts. I have seen those reports myself. They are there. It's all documented. It's not something which has just appeared out of thin air. It's all documented. These reports are there. Those contracts are there, and there is identification. There are identified spots. The spots which have been identified, the villages which have been identified for such exploration, are already there in those reports. There are maps. Everything is there on maps. Okay, and there's everything is there in the report, so it's not something which somebody can imagine out of thin air. It's there. So Jubilant Oil has an interest in Manipur. Those activities had to be stopped back then. These contracts happened in 2010, and after some time, after some initial activity, and after some initial trying to set up the base there in the state, there was
hmm,
protest from people who were supposed to be affected by such activities, and they had to pack up.
hmm.
So now, I mean, they, of course, they would like to go back.
So, sir, you are saying that only ethnic ethnic nationalism is not the concern.
It's not the concern, because
Money
yes,
is also another reason.
money is the concern. It's
Hmm,
the entire conflict is very much economic. It's
hmm,
very much it very much has to do things with profiteering of
hmm,
corporations. and
hmm,
and because I'm not saying this because this is happening for the first time. This is not happening for the first time. It is
hmm,
happening
hmm,
around the world. We have seen such business interests, vested interests, doing their doing
hmm.
have been found
Yes, yes, yes.
instigating such violence in Africa, in South America, in the Middle East, in the Central Asian countries, in Eastern European countries, so and
So
even in North
even
America. So
so
it's not
even
something
in
new that we are witnessing for the
yeah, yeah.
first time.
Sir, even in I think Madhya Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, we had something called the Salwa Judum.
Yes,
Here in India also these cases have happened. So thank you,
so many places in
Vishwajit
India:
sir. Yeah,
Chhattisgarh, Andhra Pradesh, Tamil Nadu,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Kerala,
Huh.
Jharkhand. So many places. What's new about it?
Yeah. So, thank you, Vishwajit sir, for being part of this show. We wish you well so that you are, successful in defending the rights of the oppressed in Manipur as well as in rest of India. Thank you for giving us our time. So please, viewers, like, share, subscribe to DYNT, our tagline, Awaken One Human at a Time. And please see Democratize Your Nation Today content. If you don't see and support the initiative, then it would be very difficult to safeguard a community that has brought India its independence 70 8 years back. Please make sure that India doesn't forget the blood and sweat of the Kuki Zo community. Thanks for watching this video.